Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Today Isle. I'm Clixian, and today, well, I'm going to show you how to do snares for hares. Yeah, for, rabbit snares. From making them all the way to the table. So, warn you in advance, there are some wild hares in this video and that are going to be prepared for the table. So if you're squeamish, you may want to skip it. I'll maybe put a little feel free to skip here tag later on in the video when it gets to that part. But what you're looking at now is the ocean, the day, 2 days after the storm. So if you can imagine, what my intention was to do some beachcombing videos, but couldn't do that because it was just way too windy and cold and covered in snow. But this weekend should be really nice, and I should be able to get out there and do that. This is what it actually sounded like. But yeah, snowy, windy, cold. Wind chill's minus 26 Celsius right now, which is brutal. So to do beachcombing today, but warm up a little bit this week, and maybe the snow will melt off, and it won't be so difficult to find things. So we'll try that. Very cool. Sorry about your ears there. This is what the supermoon looked like the other day, which is part of the reason the tides were so crazy. And so let's dive directly into making the snares first. So you need a wire. It doesn't have to be too thin. You don't want it to be too thin because it needs to have the ability to hold its rigidity. And then you just basically twist one end into a loop, just like this. Super easy. Twisty, twisty. Loop. So then you take the other end of the wire, and you pass it through the tail, like so. And essentially, you have just built a snare. It is that easy. I usually will put a little kink in the main wire to hold the loop in place, like so. And that is it. Rabbit walks in, it keeps going, and that's actually how they work. The rabbit's first instinct is to try to get away from the threat, and they just basically keep running in one direction, making the snare tighter and tighter. So out in the woods, I've been watching for rabbit trails when we had snow down, and I found many areas of it, but this one here looked particularly well used. There were several rabbit tracks through here, so it looked to me like a perfect place to set a snare. And so I did. You can see the rabbit tracks here. You'll always see two long and two short. It's almost like a Morse code, except all in a cluster. That's what rabbit tracks will look like. They're pretty obvious. You'll know them when you see them. They're not like any of the other tracks out in the forest. You want to make sure it's attached to the tree quite firmly so that the snare doesn't go with the rabbit when it tries to bolt. No sense in just injuring a rabbit, that would be senseless. And then you just want to make sure it holds its shape so that it doesn't sort of become unusable when you walk away. It needs to cover the main trail, be about a hand span above the ground, and it should offer no areas for the rabbit to go around it. So I usually stick a few twigs nearby just to force them to go through. Just like that. Time to catch up. Alright, well, it's been a few days, and there's my snare. You can see there has been some activity, lots and lots of traffic, but none are going through that pass anymore. So it looks like I'm going to move it to under this log, because they're passing directly under it there. Several sets of tracks. So we're going to go ahead and move that, and we'll try our luck with that. Alright, so it's been a few days since I last set my snares, and we've had 2 big snowstorms since. I've checked it every day. I've checked all 3 of them. I've got 3 set. And today I have succeeded in capturing one. I came by and I didn't see my snare, and I realized it was because the bunny, I must have got him overnight. He was buried in snow. He's frozen solid. But yeah, I was planning on making a kind of a chasseur sort of dish tonight anyway with some deer meat. So I'll probably add him to it, and it'll be delicious. So I'll probably film that process and put that in another video. So there we go. We have a bunny, a varied hare, I believe they're called. I'll just try to show them to you a little bit more if you're not squeamish. Poor thing is frozen, but that's what he looks like. Right on. Not very big, but you know, plenty of meat. I always check the liver to look for signs of tularemia. You don't want to eat a rabbit that has tularemia, so I always check the liver for white spots. That's how you can tell. Once I start processing him, maybe I can show you what the liver looks like just for comparison. Alright, I'll get this guy home and go from there.